my job is simply to offer thanks on behalf of the Football Writers Association, but I would like, first of all, to offer thanks to our speakers so far and henceforth. It truly is a privilege to be a member of the Football Writers Association when we have this night, and those who've been here a few times will know that it just gets better and better because of our speakers, and tonight has certainly been no exception. In fact, it's been an example of that. So I would like to thank all three so far for magnificent contributions. And if, by the way, if there's anybody here who doubts Hugh's lyricism, we've got a film that it's going to prove every syllable of what he's just said, which is coming up soon, and that's going to be a treat. I'd also like to mention that ill health made the ill-advised decision to pick a fight with Hugh McIlvanney in the last few months. I think we've seen tonight that it's losing. Thank you, Hugh. I'd also like to thank Gareth, not just for being here, and Hugh will not forgive me if I say this, that with men like you in charge of the England team, even we kind of wish them well, don't we? Almost. But not just for being here, Gareth, and for being such good company, but for one of the things you said, because no football gathering right now would be complete without reference to Cyril Regis. It's probably the highest calling of football to make society better. Cyril Regis and those like him did that. He was also a wonderful bloke. So thank you very much for drawing our attention to Cyril Regis. I'd like also to thank our sponsors William Hill, who are here in magnificent force, Tony and Simon on our table, a few more of our friends, Kieran, Joe, and others over there with the Jones family. The Cliff Joneses are here in force tonight, I'm glad to say. But I really can't say enough for our partnership with, and I say partnership because it goes beyond anything in my experience of sponsorship, and I hope they won't mind my pointing out one particular example. A few months ago, we had the joint idea, which they don't make too many demands on us, but they insisted that we go ahead with an evening to benefit the victims of the Grenfell Towers fire. And we did. We had magnificent support from the football family. Arsene Wenger was roped in a kidnap by one of our committee members, Philippe Auclair. Thank you, Philippe. And gladly came. Gary Lineker came. Les Ferdinand came from QPR, the Grenfell Towers local club. And it was just the most wonderful night, but perhaps more important, it made money for a very good cause. But what wasn't announced was that quite beyond the terms of our contract, William Hill doubled what we raised that night for the victims. And I'd like to pay tribute to William Hill. I'd like to thank my fellow members of the committee who are tremendous. Paul McCarthy is... basically, I think, no, it's not fair of previous chairman, but I'm certainly no more than a puppet. This is a puppet regime, and Paul McCarthy is the Politburo. One man, but he always makes good decisions. I'd also like to thank John Lay for doing great work on membership. We're fifth. Thank you. And Mike Collett on our books committee, but Thank you. But on membership, John Lay, who has, difficult, like us all, has crosses to bear. He has still presided over a 50% increase in our membership over the last 3 years, and that's not in easy times. And that's not counting. We have 40 student members now, because we now see it as very much our duty to be there if required by the football writers of the future. So thanks for everybody who's worked on membership. Also on our internal staff, I'd also like to thank Vicky Orvice. I now have a vice chairman, or is it deputy chairman? I don't know. Vicky will put me right on that. But at any rate, she has been and will be a tremendous force in our organization. Also Carrie Brown, who has joined Jerry Cox in beefing up our website and our general online content. This might be boring for non-members, but it's hugely important for us, and we appreciate it. And last but very much not least, I'd like to thank David Crisp, who is the CEO of the luxury perfume company, Boadicea the Victorious. You may have noticed these gifts, which are incredibly valuable. It's unfeasibly expensive and exclusive perfume, and I trust. I don't know, David, if a consignment of this stuff is, as we speak, winging its way across the Atlantic to Sao Paulo for Pele's, Mrs. Pele's use, but I hope it is. Thank you very much to Boadicea the Victorious. Now we've also had lots of messages, as you can imagine, most on the assumption, I have to say, that Pele was going to be here, which we all, of course, shared. But one I'd particularly like to read out, because it's from Gilberto Silva, who was probably one of the most successful Brazilian players ever to play here in this country, and a wonderful, wonderful servant to Arsenal. And if I can just read out the message he sent. In my mind, Pele is the king of all time. He inspired so many generations of people and players, and still does. Unfortunately, I couldn't see him play, only videos and his movie. He deserves all the credit, though, for leaving football a great legacy. As a Brazilian, I'm so happy for his achievements, and I'm sure his influence inspired most of us Brazilian players over so many years. Thank you, King Pele, for everything. And this is the man we're all gathered to honor, Edson Aranches do I don't know, but I think my pronunciation's worse than Hughes, and that's saying something. Also, the Aranch, anyway, we'll discuss it afterwards. Get me out of here. Also known as Pele, no one is quite sure how he acquired the nickname, but we do know that his first Christian name, Edson, came from his father's admiration for the American inventor Thomas Alva Edison. Now, Edison is reckoned by some to be the greatest inventor of all time, on the grounds that he was credited with 1,000 inventions. Little did Pele's dad know that that little baby would score 1 goal for every invention. 1,000 goals. And although we don't have time to watch all of Pele's goals tonight, we do have a treat in store, because Trevor East and his team from Pitch International have put together a truly magnificent compilation of great moments from Pele's career. On behalf of Pele, so Gordon, will you please accept this now? Yeah, the one person we knew wouldn't drop it.
I'll try not to.